Hello Internet, my name is Ryan Ingram, and today we're going to be talking about the very first foreclosure that I purchased, and I did so at a sheriff's sale. So I actually went to the courthouse, and if you've watched the previous video that I've done on foreclosures, then you're already familiar that this is the middle of the road inside the foreclosure process. This is whenever the court forcibly takes the property from the previous owner and awards it over to the bank, or in this case, the highest bidder, which was me. Now, I purchased this property for $9,500. There was one other gentleman in the courthouse bidding on this property, and he stopped at $9,000. So the next increment in 500 was me at $9,500. Now, I have to be honest with you all. I only purchased this property because I own the one right next door, and I'm not a fan of this area. I actually purchased a package of 13 properties, and one of the 13 properties was this one. So I didn't like the neighborhood. Actually, whenever we've had vacancies, as soon as I even mentioned the street name, a lot of the potential residents say, wait a second, is that near this particular housing project? In which I replied, yes. And they're immediately uninterested. And that's because that housing project is the worst one inside of this city. So there is that. However, I just purchased these properties, and I figure if I'm gonna be here for the next 30, 40, 50 years, then I might as well own more than less in this area. Now, I guess I feel like it gives me a little bit more positive control over the area, but at the same time, it's only 2 out of several hundred properties, so I'm really not making that much of an impact, but I thought it would be beneficial to be able to have a little bit more influence over who the neighbors were, at least on that street, because it kind of sits between 2 vacant lots, these 2 houses. So it is, in a sense, just a little bit isolated because of those vacant lots. But what happened next, I don't think anyone could have possibly imagined. Now, yes, I did my due diligence as soon as I saw this property on the sheriff's sale, because I own the one right next door, and we renovated it a little bit before we got it ready to rent. I was familiar with this property. I had walked around it. I looked in the windows, but none of that really helped. Nobody could have predicted truly how bad it was on the inside. Now, at the time, this was the worst property that I've ever renovated. This was what I've commonly referred to on this channel as the dog poo house. The floor was just covered. So it was owned by an elderly gentleman. He passed away. I guess the dogs lived a little bit longer than he did and just, you know, ran through the house. They were giant open bags of dog food and dog poo strewn about the property. Not ideal. There were also gaping holes inside of the roof. So all in all, I thought I was going to be upside down in this house, because at the time, my best guess was that these properties were worth $35,000, and that is if they were perfect, rent ready, no outstanding issues, updated mechanicals, newer roof. $35,000 tops is what I would put this. So let's go over how much money that I have in this property. So the purchase price was $9,500. The interior rehab was $25,000, and we ripped everything down to the studs. We put up new drywall, new kitchen, new bath. It looks phenomenal now. New flooring throughout. We even removed some walls and added a new wall and covered up a doorway so that we made it a little bit more functional in our opinions. So that all costs $25,000. The exterior rehab cost $4,500, and I'm a big fan whenever we are doing new properties, especially if there's even remote signs of water damage in the foundation. So in Ohio, all the properties have basements, and sometimes the concrete just kind of starts falling off from the inside, and it's easy to fix. You just have to, you know, divert the groundwater appropriately. So whenever possible, I really like to trench out the downspouts all the way to the street. So we did exactly that. This was included in the $4,500, along with replacing some soffits and all of the gutters. So at the downspouts, the water through drain tile, so not like a French drain or anything, but we kick it all the way out to the street and get the water, as much groundwater as possible, away from the foundation, which makes me really happy, because that really helps the foundation, so I don't have any issues over the next 30, 40, 50 years. And Of course, along with the 2 gaping holes that have been open in this house for 5+ years, there were 3 layers of shingles, all which needed to be removed and redeck the entire roof, which came to about $4,500. So since it was such a small house, the roof wasn't that hateful. But now it's going to be good for a very long time. And lastly, we had the HVAC. So we put in a new furnace and a new AC unit, which came out to be right at $3,000. And as you can see, because I am suspicious about this area, I put the AC unit about 8 feet in the air. So that's pretty nifty, huh? People are going to have a tough time stealing that. They're pretty heavy. So $9,500 purchase price, $25,000 interior rehab, $4,500 for both the roof and all of the exterior rehab, and then $3,000 for the new mechanicals. This came out to be right at $46,500. So as you can see, as I estimated this property to be worth $35,000, I was very frustrated whenever I realized that we had spent $46,500 on making this property right. Now, over the long term of owning this property, the next 30, 40, 50 years, it's not really going to make that big of a difference. And if you really put it out over 360 months, then the amount that I went over really isn't that bad on a monthly basis. But it's pretty detrimental to my cash on hand, because we didn't take out any loans to do this. We used our own cash, and let me tell you, it hurt. So this is one of the properties where my brother and I actually took our personal money and put it into the house just to not interrupt the other ongoings of our business. So we were really nervous the entire time on whether or not we would be able to get our money out of this, because our best guess was this property was only worth $35,000. But since we've owned this property for a while now, I can confidently tell you that we have refinanced this. We put it in a Fannie Freddie loan, so it's in our personal names. This is over 30 years at 4.5%, and the property appraised right at $52,000. So 75% loan to value is what we did. So when it appraised for 52, that means we were able to pull out $39,000. So $46,500 minus $39,000 means that we only had $7,500 left in the property after we refinanced. And let me tell you, as much as I thought I was underwater, this was music to my ears. This made me very happy. So now that you know exactly how much I have into this property and we have seen how awesome this property looks, let's talk about the monthly expenses and the cash flow that it creates now. So as I mentioned, we borrowed $39,000 over 30 years at 4.5%, which brings our mortgage payment right to $200 per month. Our insurance on this property is right at $50 per month, and the taxes are $60 per month. And the property management fee that we charge ourselves is also $50 per month. This brings the monthly expenses right at $360 per month. Now, the income of this property is $600 per month. Now, this is actually rented out to a very good friend of mine. He's the same gentleman that just purchased the 4-unit that I discussed in the house hacking success video. So check that out if you haven't already, because that just absolutely changed his life. But nonetheless, I think we could rent this out for $650 per month, just because everything is new, it's renovated very well, and it's truly gorgeous on the inside. So at the moment, let's just go ahead and use $600 per month for the income and compare that to the expenses. So $600 minus $360, our cash flow on a monthly basis is right at $240 per month. $240 per month is not that bad. We will take that, and hopefully we can increase this to $290 per month soon. Now, if you're new to the channel and you think that I forgot to include capital expenditures or repairs and maintenance, then no, I did that on purpose, and I explained why in the video that I did about calculating numbers on a rental property, and my favorite thumbnail ever, no CapEx, no problem. So thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please throw them down below and I will answer all of them. So thank you so much. I appreciate you guys' time and can't wait to talk to you guys soon. Thanks. Bye.